There's a song by a boy band that has the word truth in it, and the whole time I read a truth book, I sing it, and now...
And now you can't remember what it is.
Oh! Bye bye bye. It's like, just hit me with the truth. And I was like, ah! The truth! Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of Comic Comments from The Vault. I know that we were supposed to be talking about the TV series side of things, but we've opted to just do another book today, mainly because we feel like just us two sat talking about the TV series thing isn't much of a major discussion, and being as we know a bunch of people that watch these shows, we were thinking of doing it as a big live hangout. So it is coming. We are not entirely sure when, but it definitely is coming. Just before we get started, movie news.
Asa Butterfield isn't Spider-Man. Like, he's not playing Spider-Man for Marvel anymore. Tom Holland is. So that's news.
And it's weird.
He's some 19-year-old guy.
I'm pretty sure he's British. But
Yeah.
Like, maybe this is why Spider-Man hasn't been on any of the Civil War cast lists if they were still sorting him out.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So, he better be in Civil War. I've been reading so many articles about people like, this Civil War is basically going to be the same as Age of Ultron. They just picked the name of a comic book and just decided to put it on their movie.
Yeah.
Also, Benedict Cumberbatch finalised his deal to be Doctor Strange. I reckon he's going to be a cool Doctor Strange. As long as he doesn't do the hand gestures.
What hand gestures?
For some reason, Doctor Strange throws up the devil horns when he does magic.
Yeah, but so does Scarlet Witch.
No, she's he's like a shit Spider-Man.
I swear she's done the Spider-Man one before as well.
Do you reckon they all went through the same process Tobey Maguire did in the first Spider-Man? Go, Web, go! Fly! We are doing... This was the first book that was ever recommended to me. Planet Hulk got me into comics, and then my friend lent me all of New Avengers. Like Civil War, Secret Invasion, Sentry, all that. Read it, loved it, and then he was like, you have to read House of M. House of M is just have to. And I've wanted to for years, and a couple of months ago, I finally picked it up. We both picked up our own copies, and I read it. And I'm going to tell you about it. House of M. Probably best to give context for this book. I'm fairly certain, but don't quote me on it, this is the next major event after Avengers Disassembled.
Yeah,
whereby in Avengers Disassembled, Scarlet Witch kills Vision, Scott Lang, and Hawkeye, yeah. And she's just her powers are really out of control. And this is kind of the consequences of that. Worst, the consequences of Avengers Disassembled. I guess the only other thing that's worth noting, do you know how Genosha died? I swear that was her as well.
I thought it was the Sentinels. Wasn't it? You know, the anti-mutant program just kind of went nuts. Destroyed everything.
Genosha's destroyed. So that's kind of as much context as you really need to jump into this. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis,
who I love.
Yes, his work is great. He had help from, because there's a newspaper article at the back which I read, but it does nothing for the story. It's just a nice little thing, and people like Ed Brubaker, Greg Pak, Chris Claremont, they helped him with it. And then we have
Olivier
Coppel. So they worked on this book, and I would just outright say this was a really fun read. I had a good time reading it.
That makes one of us.
Oh, dissension. This is one of those books, again, where it can be summed up so easily, even though there's a lot of... Like, there's pages and pages of stuff, and you're kind of like, one thing happened. That was relevant.
Yeah.
We see, like, Wanda and her 2 kids, and she's like... There's, like, all these people around her, and she's given birth, and what a happy day, and then Professor X just comes in and just shits in her cereal, because he's just like, none of this is real, and it's not, like, her kids are just made of magic.
And he makes her put everything back the way it was, so she's just sat alone in this room.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't see why... I think the problem's not so much her having, like, the kids as the problem. I think it's just her abusing her powers is the problem.
Yeah, because she can't tell the difference between, like, the stuff that she makes and actual reality.
Yeah.
And every time she uses her powers, she can't tell more and more. So it just makes everything worse.
I liked the fact that Professor X, like, forces her to go to sleep, and you see, like, he's just wiping blood from his nose, and you can tell, like, the strain that it's putting on him trying to keep her in check is massive as well. It's a big deal. And the X-Men, the Avengers, and some other heroes, because we've got, like, new Avengers and other people, all come together to try and decide her fate, and it's very split between, like, most people like, let's just kill her, and then other people like, we need to help her.
I thought most people are against it, and it's just Wolverine and Professor X.
Wolverine, Professor X, Emma Frost.
Oh, okay.
It's mainly like X-Men want to kill her, Avengers want to help her. It doesn't seem like she can be helped by anyone.
She doesn't even want to help.
But yeah, because she's a mutant and an Avenger, so that's where, like, the clash comes in. Yeah. Luckily though, the Avengers don't, like, go against the X-Men in, like, some kind of versus match, because that would be fucking terrible. And somehow Quicksilver was there.
And then he ran away.
He must have just been really fast.
Yeah.
Ran past. There are parts in this that show the idea that, yeah, like, Quicksilver's fast all the time, and he actually has to slow himself down, and that's why he's such a dick. Because there's, like, a point where he's shouting.
But he shouts so fast that Magneto can't hear him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. It just looked like he was doing Flash's thing from the TV show. The face
shaky thing, yeah.
wobbly thing. Basically, Quicksilver's like, they're going to kill her. They're going to kill her, and begs Magneto to help, because they're over on Genosha playing Happy Families. And then it just kind of cuts to, like... I mean, another big point is the fact that all the mutants are really scared, because they're like... If the government gets hold of the fact that it was a mutant that killed their beloved Avengers, then we're fucked, basically.
Yeah, humans and mutants are not going to get along anymore.
Yeah. And then there's just, like, this white light, and everything has changed. So there's... like, everybody changes in some way, but I would say the most notable ones are, like, Peter Parker wakes up, and he's married to Gwen Stacy, and he has a kid with her. And Captain America's really old. Scott Summers and Emma Frost are together, which I've always found it really fucking stupid.
I know.
He's Scott Summers, she's Emma Frost.
I didn't pick up on that. I just thought they were a weird couple.
Because he's always wanted to just bang Emma Frost.
Yeah, he has.
This is the thing, everyone in Marvel's just a hound dog. Like, everyone's banging everyone. Even Spider-Man was banging Black Cat while he was with Mary Jane.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, the most popular superhero is Captain Marvel. But people are like, well, that's weird, because she's not a mutant. Because the basic idea is everyone has got what they always wanted, but mutants are the dominant species, and then humans are, like, dying out, and they're known as, like, sapiens. So yeah, I liked that, the fact that they're just really looked down upon. Like, it's completely just turned on its head.
Yeah. It's weird though.
Yeah, but it's because it's the House of M is the House of Magnus. Like, Magneto is just like ruler, and Genosha's all back and better is another change.
Yeah, because the war between the Sentinels. Yeah, it was the Sentinels that destroyed Genosha. Because originally Magneto lost that, but because of the whole Scarlet Witch thingy,
Yeah.
he won it. So then
Okay.
he's like Lord of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're known as Sapiens, and we get a moment with Beast where, like, Hank Pym's trying to isolate the mutant gene, and Beast is basically like, you can't do that because that's just disrespectful. And Beast really does, like, talk down to him. And Beast's obviously not a beast, he's just Hank McCoy.
He's like...
He's still got
like
his...
X-Men First Class Beast.
Yeah, because he's still got his agility and all his powers
Yeah,
and stuff.
so he can still like hang upside down by his feet and everything, but he's just not furry.
Yeah. And then we get the most important... It's like I said, there's loads of changes, but the other one for me that was like a big deal is the fact that Wolverine wakes up. He's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. along with like Mystique and Toad and Nightcrawler, Spider-Woman. But he also remembers everything. He remembers his whole life, all the experiments and everything. But this means that he also remembers what life was like before House of M. And he remembers like what reality should be. And so his mission is like, let's put the world back together. He's able to like fight off S.H.I.E.L.D. And his escape's pretty cool. He literally is just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Just jumps off the helicarrier. And then he ends up with Luke Cage, and Luke Cage has his like underground
team, kind of?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they were... I'd say they were a resistance, but they don't really do anything to like resist. Just
No.
being angry.
Yeah. Well, they probably did do something. It's just
Yeah.
not shown.
And then Luke Cage looks different and stuff.
Yeah.
But we see like Hawkeye's back alive as well, and he's part of the human resistance, and he's very angry in this book, obviously. And Scarlet Witch is a human, we find out in this, and she has her kids. Because it's weird, because she's not really a human.
No, it's like a life model decoy, but it's
Yeah.
one that she's made using her magic-y powers, and then she made it for Magneto so he can run around with that body and just show her off as his human daughter.
Yeah.
While I think she's trapped in the astral plane? Or...
Well, he meets her on the astral plane. I think Doctor Strange is on the astral plane and projects
she's
himself.
She's just
in her room.
Yeah.
Yeah. We meet a character called Layla Miller, whose power is... When I first heard about her power, it's less dumb than I thought it was going to be, but it's still dumb.
Yeah.
In that she basically can just touch people and they remember everything. They get a glimpse of like what life was like. And the idea that Doctor Strange says is like Scarlet Witch made her so that... spoilers for the ending. It wasn't Scarlet Witch's idea to create this House of M, so it's kind of the idea that she made this kind of get out of jail free card in Layla, so like there was a chance things would go back to normal.
Yeah. Like a subconscious thing.
Yeah. Or it's just lazy writing by Bendis, but who am I to say? They go around and Layla literally shows everyone the truth, the X-Men and all our main characters. She's gone along. The only one that really was like hit home hard was Peter Parker's, because like for Peter, like Uncle Ben's still alive as well, and Peter realises that Gwen should be dead, Uncle Ben should be dead, and he just breaks down and he's like, tell me I'm going crazy, and they're like, you're not, and you don't have time for this.
I thought it was so sad when he like shouted at Doctor Strange to like make all the memories go away.
the whole time as well, they're looking for Professor X because they're into the, like, they know that they must have used Professor X, like, Scarlet Witch must have used him in some way, used his power to create this House of M universe. And they're just looking for him. But in this House of M universe, he's actually dead, and there's, like, a memorial garden and stuff for him. And you see it was like, he died so Genosha could live. So that big battle, obviously, passed away in. Our team, so Avengers, X-Men, everything, end up going to fight Magneto, because he's having, like, a big gala, and, like, Namor's going to be there, because he was the first ever mutant, which is an idea I've never liked, because why? Because I'm pretty sure they just threw it in. They were like, oh, he's the first mutant.
Yeah. Stupid.
Yep.
But, like, Storm's there, and who else? Black Panther.
Doctor Doom. It's, yeah,
just big names.
like rulers and that. The, like, big fight breaks out. This book feels really fucking cinematic. In that as well, it's like the big fight comes at the end. It's not like constant skirmishes throughout like every other story.
There's a lot of build-up.
Because we get stuff like, there's just like a shot of Russia and there's like a big statue of Colossus because he's like Russia's champion. It's not mentioned, it's just like a nice cinematic little thing. And I love when they do that. Because if I, like, when it comes to writing a comic book, I'd see it more as like writing a movie script and imagine it as, you know, a film in my head rather than as
a book, yeah.
Yeah. But this fight's going on and the big reveal is that it was, they assume Magneto forced Scarlet Witch into this, but it wasn't. It was Quicksilver. And we go to like a flashback of when he was saying they're going to kill her, what are we going to do? And he convinces Scarlet Witch and is like, they're coming to kill you, they're going to take us away. And he really like lays it on thick that she needs to change everything. Because she said she could feel Professor Xavier in her head, like they were getting close. So she used the fact that he was in her head to like extend her powers. But
so she had power over everything all over the world.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, does Quicksilver die? Because it looks as if...
No. Well...
I think Magneto like kills him, but then she seems to like give him life again, and then she's like cuddling him. But I don't...
Yeah, because I know after this he exists, but he's just depowered.
Oh, yeah,
he ends up using the Terrigen crystals to get his powers back.
Oh,
yeah,
cool. Anywho, we get a cool Hawkeye moment as well, where Hawkeye, like, while Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange are talking, he shoots her with an arrow, and she just like gets rid of it. And like, I love the way they've drawn how she changes reality, because it's like blocks that like fold. Like, imagine in Diagon Alley in the first Harry Potter film where the bricks like all fall away. That's how these objects all react. But yeah, he shoots her in the back and he's really angry, but he's like, I loved you, I would have like done anything for you. And you can just see that bit. He's hurt, but he's not gonna be a dick and go out for revenge. And at this point Scarlet Witch acts like an oblivious child. Like,
yeah,
her responses are really like...
Doesn't she just kind of break him apart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To protect her children, because he was getting angry, and the kids don't like that.
The kids that don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do. It's this idea of family issues throughout, that Magneto put, like, wanting to be dominant above his kids, so his kids are fucked up, and it's his fault, and his whole family is just fucked up. And that is a big theme throughout this, but at least Magneto knows this. Like, this is when Magneto's, like, not a dick.
Well, he's still a dick, he's just less of a dick.
Yeah, but Magneto even says when he realises the truth, he was like, I would have never allowed this. Like, he's got everything he's always wanted, and he's like, I still don't like what you've done. And yeah, he fucking just blasts Quicksilver. Everything gets returned to normal, and Scarlet Witch basically is like, I know how to fix the problem. because we're freaks. It's because we're mutants. So she just says no more mutants. She's like, problem solved. Get rid of. She says no more mutants. We get like everything goes back to normal. So Spider-Man wakes up next to MJ, but it's really sad because like everybody who was on this little team with Emma Frost and Doctor Strange and Emma Frost like protected them, so they still remember, this little handful remember House of M and nobody else does. So like for Peter Parker, he saw this life that he had with Uncle Ben and Gwen, and like there's a point where he's just smashing on the table and he's crying his eyes out, and it is like really sad.
Well, he's basically got to go through Gwen and Uncle Ben dying all over again.
Yeah. Some deep stuff.
Yeah.
I love Spider-Man just as a character.
He's written really well.
And then like it's weird because Wolverine wakes up and he still remembers everything, and he's still got his powers, and this select group that were protected still have their powers. All the other mutants don't. Like, she's just kind of like plucked the X gene from existence, and
we see Emma Frost use Cerebro.
Yeah.
And there's like, what, 5 dots on the entire planet?
Yeah.
Where mutants actually exist.
And like, yeah, like all the kids at the school are like crying and they're like, did we do something wrong? Why aren't we mutants? Iceman walks in and he's not Iceman anymore.
And he just thinks everything else is really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in a
No.
wanna fuck it way. He's not just like, look at this lamp. I love lamp.
No, but he's like sweating and everything.
Yeah. But Hawkeye's also back. Like, Hawkeye goes to Avengers Mansion, which is destroyed from Avengers Disassembled, and he hangs up his uniform and like the newspaper article saying he was dead. But I think he's just kind of like, don't want to be Hawkeye anymore, because he ends up being Ronin.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure we talked about before.
It's some kind of episode.
Yeah.
Not sure if it's come out yet.
No, probably not.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Ronin-
find out about that eventually.
Basically, Ronin is just this assassin character, like ninja, that was created to be Matt Murdock's new identity, so he could join the new Avengers. Everyone guessed it was Daredevil, like all the readers, so the writers, not to be outwitted, changed it, so it was actually Echo, who is a just deaf character, like Daredevil character, and then she stops like being Ronin, and so Hawkeye's like, I'll be Ronin for no reason.
Yeah.
Because Kate Bishop becomes Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the Ronin character. It's all part of New Avengers. Magneto as well is depowered, but the X-Men and stuff still can't find Xavier. Like, we don't see him at the end of this book, so he's just gone.
He's presumed dead.
Yeah, we see Wanda and like, I don't know, she's just like quite merry, just walking through this like little village, and she seems to be normal-ish. But then there's more mutant issues at the end, because they're like, look, the mutants were a disease and they can be eradicated, so we need to push forward with that. So there's more mutant hate about. The thing at the end of this,
I liked it.
that I wasn't so sure about, that is the Phoenix.
Yeah, that was the Phoenix.
Cool. Because they're basically saying like all that mutant energy had to go somewhere. Where would it have gone? What are the consequences of this going to be? Our very world's going to change. You can't just get rid of a species or get rid of a gene.
Because like there were so many mutants that could control energy and magnetic fields and everything, and he says every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So what is this reaction going to be?
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Yeah, and we just see like a glimpse of the Phoenix coming towards Earth, which leads into because Avengers vs X-Men is kind of like the next step for this. Because we get new Avengers.
Basically, just to counteract this.
Yeah. It just kind of, this feels like a way to just get rid of a bunch of characters, but it also is because like you make more and more mutants, and the idea is the mutants are supposed to be like a minority. if you keep making mutant characters, if when mutants breed, like, then like, talking about them like they're like
Breeding.
dogs or something. Like, if a mutant man and a mutant woman
Have a child.
yeah, and shebang, then surely that child will also be a mutant.
Yeah, it was saying in the one of the newspaper articles at the back that like ways to ensure that your child will be a mutant.
Yeah, but it's the fact that like eventually they're not
Going to be like a minority anymore.
no. So I think this was a way of just trimming it back.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like in Avengers versus X-Men, when you have like the Phoenix and shit, and the Phoenix's energy goes into the floor, and it's like, yay, now there's a chance there could be more mutants. I think that was just to like
Carry on
they-
their
well, they-
whole X-Men line.
well, they have the option now. Like, if they want to bring back some mutants or make new ones, they can.
Yeah.
I liked it. I think, like, I rushed, had to rush through reading it. I think I would have enjoyed it more at like a more leisurely pace of reading, but I wasn't disappointed by the story. But I think considering how much hype, like people were like, oh, you have to read House of M because it's fucking awesome, and I'm like, do you know what? It may just be because by the time we've read it, no, none of it matters.
Yeah.
So I think it's the fact that we've read the newer books, we've gone back and we're like, why do we give a shit? This did nothing. But I enjoyed it. Why didn't you enjoy it?
It's not my kind of comic. Because it was all brooding and serious and like I love like Deadpool.
I was going to say
Suicide Squad.
You just want
and
Deadpool to just show up.
I need jokes. I need things to laugh at. But like the only funny character in that entire book was Spider-Man, and he was like crushed because Uncle Ben and Gwen died again.
Yeah.
So he didn't make many jokes. So it just wasn't my kind of comic. It was still good though.
Yeah. This is completely irrelevant. But you know how we were like, I thought Captain America died at the end of Civil War. There's the Civil War epilogue is the death of Captain America, and while he's in prison, he is killed.
Right.
So he does die at the
So
end
he
of Civil
does.
War.
Okay.
Just to clear that up. Because that was bugging the shit out of me. Because I was like, when does he die? I know he dies, but I don't know when.
Okay.
The death of Captain America is like Bucky steps up to take the mantle and all this kind of shit. So that is House of M. I'd recommend it if you... The thing is, I'd say I'd recommend it if you're a long-time reader. If you're a long-time reader, you've probably read this. If you're a newer reader, it's fun, but there's no fucking point because everything in this book is like, doesn't fucking matter.
Because it gets reversed in the book after it.
Yeah, well, it just over time, like, nothing like, probably when this came out, people were like, holy shit, this is a really big deal. But then it's kind of like, stuff loses its impact the moment you're like, well, we did all this and we don't like it, so we're just going to bring everyone. Like, imagine if, like, Hawkeye had stayed dead and you would have been like, wow, we had all those years of Hawkeye and, like, but he's gone now, but what great, I miss him as a character. But you just bring him back and it's like, oh, great. Like, Wolverine's dead, and I'm like, you know what, if Wolverine stayed dead now, it would be great. But
yes, it will.
It'll probably...
No, they're going to bring him back in, like, a couple years.
Yeah. Like,
maybe even sooner.
Because you had, like, Death of Captain America was a big book, and they brought him back, and, like, Death of Spider-Man, and they brought him back.
Yeah, it's just... They always bring him back.
Yeah.
Nothing matters. Comics are stupid.
Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed ranting, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below what are your thoughts on House of M. Any books in particular you'd like us to do, let us know on From the Vault. Subscribe, because as I said at the start of the video, we've got hangouts that are going to be coming up. Our first one will probably be our Ant-Man review. because we're going as a massive group to go and see that the day it comes out. And obviously we've got this show, and we've got From the Vault, and loads of goodness coming towards you. Go over to facebook.com/comiccommentsyt. That is our main hub, where you can find out about the newest videos and plans, competitions and the like. Go over to Twitter, and if you go to @MusicNinjaMatt, you can write us a question and we'll give you a shout out and use the hashtag #ComicComments for that. Down below in the description is the Comic Comments playlist, where you can go back and watch every episode of Justin, and our hangouts will be there, and From the Vault will be there, and everything comic related will be in that. So it will be a goodbye from me.
And a bye from me.
And we hope you have enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next one. House of M is bloody awesome. A+.
Tits.